we are taking you inside the birth home of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. for one of the final times before 2025. This home, which sits on Auburn Avenue, was shut down temporarily for routine upkeep, according to the National Park Service.
As our Paul Lucero explains, the clock is ticking for you to get a glimpse of this historic home before that rehab work begins.
This is my favorite spot.
As Chief of Interpretation and Education with the National Park Service, Marty Smith's job is to preserve history.
Dr. King's favorite plate for dinner is fried chicken, black-eyed peas, collard greens, and cornbread.
And to preserve history, this home needs to be preserved too.
So future generations can have the opportunity to be able to enjoy the resources that we have here.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth home will temporarily close its doors November 27th to undergo renovations. From implementing a new air conditioning and dehumidifier system to foundation and plumbing work around the house, Smith says you'll notice changes both inside.
It's a dirt cellar, but when you come back, that's going to be a cement cellar. So it can keep the moisture and keep everything out the house.
And out. Some of the work will make this historic site more accessible for tourists with special needs.
We're going to be widening the door a little bit so we can get the wheelchairs to come through here. So people will have a lot of access to be able to come inside the property also.
The museum collection in the home will be stored off-site during the project. When doors reopen in 2025, everything will be put back the way it was.
We're going to put them in a nice secure area, and then once they get through with the renovation, we'll bring them back and set them up and have everything back to the way it was when Dr. King's mother was there. So her input will always be inside his house along with Ms. Ferris.
The NPS, which acquired this house in 2018, says when they reopened the doors of the home after the pandemic, they had more than 1.2 million visitors. Smith says new tourists will still be able to experience Dr. King's legacy with a virtual 360 tour of the home.
We're going to have little QR cards that you can look at, and you can see what the interior of the birth home looked like during that period of time. And we're going to also have some walking tours where rangers are going to be walking up and down the street to provide some of the information.
Preserving history means preserving this historic home. In Atlanta, Paul Lucero, 11 Alive News.